Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowes.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
You're listening to RAP, the Welsh Women's Rugby Appreciation Podcast.
Very
exciting podcast.
Very exciting podcast episode.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Welsh Women's Rugby Podcast, the most cancelable of all the podcasts on the Rap family. My name is Huw. This week we shall be talking about the women's rugby, including things such as the Women's World Cup draw that happened as we're recording just now. We'll also be talking about Wales's campaign in WXV and where Wales go from here. We'll then be talking about some of the other teams in WXV and where they go from here. And then we'll just be talking about WXV as a whole and what we think of it and where that should go next. I'm joined by the usual band of captains and doctors, Harley, Sian, and Julia. Welcome, guys.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Very excited to be here.
Very excited.
And let's just crack straight on with it. The World Cup draw has just happened on the One Show, which Canadian people learned what that was during WXV, which was extremely entertaining when the Canadian commentator, male lead commentator, turned to his British co-commentator and went, "And it's on the One Show. Tell us about that." And she was like, "You want me to explain the One Show to people?"
How do you explain the One Show?
When I asked you guys in chat to explain the One Show, because as I'm sure viewers and listeners can tell, I also don't have the One Show. Nobody could explain it to me. Sounds unhinged.
Giles Brandreth goes around the country and sees the third biggest sculpture made of cheese
That's what it was.
made on a Wednesday.
Yes,
Yeah,
but then they talk about hard-hitting issues like earwax.
Or
It's like this
child
morning, but in
mortality
the
rates.
evening.
These nuns started a bus company.
And now about smoking and lung cancer.
and,
It's
and now
really
children with cancer.
That
Yeah.
hard to write.
And now here's James Blunt. Like just that. Anyway, rugby show. So the World Cup draw has happened and Wales are in a pool. We thought this might happen. And we're against some teams. Japan, we're against Fiji. I've forgotten. I didn't watch
Scotland.
it. Who are we
I've
against?
got it.
So we're
Pool
in
B.
with
We're in Pool B. It's Canada, Scotland, Wales, and Fiji.
Okay, so my first question is this: what is the format of the World Cup? Is it just go straight into quarterfinals?
Yeah, so it's going to be four pools of four. Top two go through to the quarterfinals. I imagine it'll be a similar sort of like winner of A plays runner up of B, etc. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. So it's quite similar to World Cups up to about, I think 99 was the last one. It was four pools of four.
It's a Sean question.
My World Cup knowledge is
I
quite,
think
but
it
it's the
was
first time we've
99.
had this many teams in the Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's right. That's another thing for folks who aren't super familiar with the Women's World Cup. This is an expanded cup. We have not ever had this many teams before, and that's part of the reason why WXV was as interesting and kind of chaotic as it was,
Yes.
which I'm sure we'll get into.
So,
Yeah, chaotic is the word.
what with only two teams from each pool going through, we've got a big game against Scotland. Have we been against Scotland every World Cup so far? We were in the last one, weren't we? In the pool. Could we beat them?
We were. I can't remember who was
We
in
did
our...
beat them. We did beat them. That was the Kira Bevan kick at the 82nd minute.
We did last time, yeah. Kira Bevan, last minute penalty. I can't remember previous World Cups off the top of my head.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't either.
Okay. Good. So Pool B then, we're kind of on the back foot here, aren't we?
Yes.
I think we
definitely.
might struggle.
Yes. I'm curious. I'm curious what Fiji took away from WXV. I mean, we've discussed it before. Fiji is primarily hampered just by their economic situation. But I don't know. Otherwise, quite a pool.
Well, we ain't beating
right
Canada.
now,
I'll tell you that much.
We're not beating Canada for
We're
sure.
not beating Canada, and we know what happened last time we played Scotland. Obviously, depends on Six Nations form as well. Like that'll give us a little bit more of a indication, but right now it's not looking great.
And I mean, we'll have to talk about it when we get further into WXV, kind of after action report, because there is a lot to have taken away if you're a Wales fan. And there are already a lot of questions about rostering in terms of what might happen between now and the World Cup. I would love to have more hope, but I'm actually just kind of scared because we learned via the stuff that directly led up to WXV that there simply isn't depth, or at least like we hoped there was. So honestly, I'm just worried like what might happen between now and then. You know, I mean,
You're not the only one.
We don't even know if our best number 10 will have her knee back. Like we don't even know.
Yeah. So lighten the mood. So what was the actual draw like then? I didn't watch it. I was watching House Through Time. So
fun thing to let everybody know. I don't know because everybody outside of the UK didn't get any of the show except the actual draw. So Harley and Sean, take it away.
I only saw the very end of it, to be fair.
All we got on Rugby Pass TV. Oh, okay. Well, all we got on Rugby Pass TV was absolutely nothing, and then it just flashed straight. And the best thing is because it was like a continual show before, there wasn't even introductions. I have no idea who that man was. It's great. I have no idea who that woman was either.
They had Gabby Logan.
Oh, okay, it was Gabby Logan, which I feel very bad about. I've only heard her voice. Go on.
Who we love. They had all the captains. Oh yes, of course.
And they had people doing the actual draw. And then it's Ronan Kemp, who is basically a nepo baby, who seems to have only gotten a job because his dad was in EastEnders and in Spandau Ballet.
Yes, and they had all the captains of the. They had the captains, so Hannah Jones was.
I didn't see Al Calvin.
It's crazy. Well, from what we've learned via various levels of probably correct channels that we all have, I think our biggest hope at this point is probably for KB to get it back, and she wasn't there, which was to our detriment.
From what I saw, it was like, I gotta say, it was a little bit cheesy, but at the same time, I quite liked it.
Okay,
and I quite like the fact that it's had such prime time exposure.
That's the thing.
Which is absolutely awesome.
That's the thing. Jokes aside, it really was probably a movie. Yeah,
it was pretty cool. They had some kids there as well. There was a bit of buzz, so yeah.
That was.
I don't remember it even happening for a men's World Cup draw. Actually,
no.
Like that. Normally, it's just sort of like a go on a.
It happens at a big gala. Is it a big
Challenge Cup
thing for the
That's
men?
a really good point, actually. But then BBC don't have those World Cups today. I think ITV have them.
That's true.
I can't remember how they.
Still...
No, you're right.
I think it's like a stream on. It was like a stream on World Rugby for the last one. Also, it didn't help that you didn't know who all the teams were. So it was I can't wait to see who Europe 2 is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, though, that does align with like the Euros draw, so at least that makes sense.
Yeah. So extreme jeopardy here. Do you think Pool A is going to be scrolling up or scrolling down?
I'm going to go
scrolling down. I think they did it in time.
You're going to need a completely different tab. It's on a different account.
I was just going to say it's on a different account, and they do not ever reference each other.
It's on Facebook. No, okay. So scroll. Oh, bugger! Pool C was down.
All right.
Now Pool A was up.
There we go.
Right. So Pool A is England, Australia, USA, and Samoa. That's an interesting pool. Second place in that competition is going to be interesting.
Yes, I agree.
A lot of stars.
yeah, I thought that with this draw. Obviously England would top it.
I do like that It's England and 3 places that England ruined. Okay, sorry. Go on. Sorry.
Oh, you can
I do-
argue that with a lot of the teams in this World Cup.
It'll be really interesting to see how Australia do, I think, in this group, because they are on that upward curve at the moment, obviously. And yeah, how much can they work on that and improve in the time to this group? So it will be interesting. And I think the same for USA as well. I think they are on an upward curve. And obviously Samoa.
Samoa on like
it
a
is.
vertically upwards line. It's not even a curve.
Exactly. So
That was.
yeah, I think there's going to be some really interesting games.
I think. I mean, we'll go through all the other pools as well, but I do think Australia USA is probably one of the most tasty battles for probably second.
Nice.
But like, if we're realistic, England in theory should walk the pool, but I think
Yeah.
Australia USA is going to be a hell of a battle, and it'll be a shame to see either of those two miss out.
Yep, agreed.
And I bet they won't spend 4 years complaining about it like some other nations on the men's side.
Exactly.
Okay,
and I didn't.
We're on Pool C now. Pool C: New Zealand, Ireland, Japan, and Spain.
This seems fairly straightforward.
That's the fun pool. I mean, straightforward, yes, but I think
the
top
thing
2
is going to be
New Zealand,
who's first.
It's very obvious what it would be. Yes.
This is going to be a first-second battle. I think could be interesting.
Yeah,
this
is
is
the
New
one
Zealand
where
do their trekking turn up for a World Cup.
Yeah,
I mean, how angry will New Zealand be to face Ireland again?
Spicy game. I feel a bit sad for Spain though. I feel like in some of the other pools, Spain might have had a shot at.
I don't think there's any reason that you should.
Huw, it's fine.
That's true. I don't think there's any reason to think that Spain wouldn't put up a fight against Japan. I think that
will be a good game.
I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That could be potential game of the pool stage.
That's what I'm saying, especially because we really enjoyed the other clash of styles that we saw in WXV, which I know we're going to get into. There were some really good ones, but specifically Japan and Spain. Both of those were.
Did you just say Jane?
I did. I said Jane.
Just combined the teams.
Okay, but that would be an awesome team. Think about really good kicking.
That would be an amazing team. Yeah, it'd be the fastest team on the planet.
It would be the fastest team on the planet. They'd be slippery, and I bet that they would piss off the likes. Honestly, they'd piss off the likes of New Zealand. I wish I could say England, but as we will get on in the podcast, as we know, England cannot be shaken. So.
Yeah. And then Pool D: France, Italy, South Africa, Brazil. Ooh, Brazil. That's interesting and new.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I know nothing about Brazil.
I'm happy to talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
They weren't in WXV, were they? Or were they?
They did not make WXV. And that is... No, they didn't. But that is one of the arguable points, especially for fans of Tier 2 and below teams. And I'm a big Yaras fan. The Brazil team is the Yaras. I'm a huge fan. I'm really glad they're in the World Cup. I think it's a shame that they had missed out on WXV at all. And that was, as part of how the qualification worked. And it can be argued, I would certainly argue, that some continents / regions were disadvantaged. I understand the way the qualification process worked, but we can all admit at the end of the day that at WXV, they just made sure that all the Pac-4 was there and all of the Six Nations was there. That's
pretty much, yeah.
We understand that is their prerogative, but because of that, that will always dictate certain pools of any competition. And this time, Brazil lost out.
I've only just realised that I don't think I've ever seen Argentina women.
I don't think they have a...
That's a really good point.
So they do. They do have a 15s team, and the 15s team, the Argentina 15s women are the ones who compete most often with the Brazil 15s women, obviously. They play together a lot. That was yet another argument that Colombia, Brazil, and Argentina are all very hard done by the way that World Rugby currently works with stuff like that. Because, I mean, I understand World Rugby has a long history. Women's rugby doesn't have a super long history. Maybe they don't understand, but South America is a very big place. There are a lot of teams and a lot of money and a lot of places to play. But in terms of qualifying for any of this, there's basically only ever a slot for one of them. So they're constantly competing with each other. I will say at this time, Argentina 15s for women is not is not where you would hope, especially considering where their men are. But Brazil is kind of a shining light because they're the opposite. Brazil's men's 15s isn't super strong yet. Brazil has poured as much as they can. Well, I mean, there can always be more. We know how it is with women's sports, but they've really taken an interest in it. They really try. We know because we've seen their success on the Sevens circuit. They are often performers on the HSBC Sevens. I'm thrilled they're here. By these other three teams, they're gonna get dog walked. It really sucks that they have to play South Africa and France. They're just gonna demolish them, but
aren't they gonna, that's gonna happen in any group though, surely.
Yeah, no, it is. You're right. I think I'm really excited to see Brazil and South Africa because both teams have such good culture. I think like the interaction of the two teams is going to be great. I understand that's not why we watch rugby, but I think that will be a tasty clash of styles for people who chase them.
So
this group feels like a little. This group feels a little more, well, not easy, but it kind of, I don't know. It feels a little.
I would say
No,
it's the weakest group.
It does. It's
the weakest is probably the best. Yeah. Well, we don't. It's the classic. We don't know what France is going to turn up.
Pool D at the men's was also the weakest one.
And France and Italy, I know we're getting to it later, and I keep saying that, but France and Italy are two teams that WXV
have stagnated.
Left. Right, the WXV left us shaking our heads or scratching our heads. Yes. Exactly. We don't know what exactly is going on there. We would hope that they both recover and bounce back, but if not, then that really does open the door to somebody like South Africa, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think South Africa having a run in this World Cup could be very influential.
It could be really influential, and it'd be a lot of fun for us because of what we saw at WXV. Not surprisingly, they're going to be a very fun team to watch.
Yeah. So that's the World Cup draw. We'll talk about that more when we get to the World Cup. But sticking with WXV now then, and talking about Wales is WXV. So since we last spoke to the people, we played 2 games. One was against Italy and one was against Japan. The game against Italy finished 8-5 defeat. Was that the scoreline?
Yeah.
One of the lesser good rugby games you will ever see. So we're not planning on dwelling on that game too much. So let's talk about the Japan game. A victory, 19 points to 10, was it? 19 points to 12?
19
points to 10, yes.
Yeah. So is it one of those like we won, but no one's kind of happy about it? I mean, what was people's feeling when the full-time whistle blew and Wales had won that game?
I kind of feel like we'd been better in the long term if we'd lost.
That is actually how the entire pod feels. We've talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about it elsewhere.
Obviously, we don't like to see Wales lose. Like
it felt Pyrrhic.
It just felt weird, didn't it? And then that first half, I actually thought, we're actually playing a little bit brighter. Like they just seemed to have a little bit more energy. Yes. They were running lines. There was a little bit more enthusiasm. I don't know. They had a little bit more of a zip about them.
Yeah,
the backs looked a little bit more.
Wasn't as good, but I think the actually kicking game wasn't too bad. But the impressive thing was that actually the back, there was seemed to be some movement in the backs, and you actually saw like the back row and the front row interplay, and you're getting lots of nice little tips and inside passes.
Yeah.
I don't know if the kicking game looks better because Japan, don't really have that. They basically they're aware that they don't really have the kickers, particularly goal kickers, so they go for more speed. So it's more focused on just trying to make as many, being so fit that they can make the meters. But I said the first half was better in relation to the previous games we'd seen.
Oh, much better.
But I'll be honest, even looking at Wales when we played in WXE1 last year, I still think we were better then.
Yeah,
I think they had a bit more of a power game. I felt we stood up better, and this just, we said on off the line anytime, it doesn't look like a happy camp, but I think there's something else as well. There's just something, and I cannot fathom what it is, but there's just something does not seem right.
The win felt like it was wrung out of the team rather than just like performed. It felt like this was, obviously you want to believe that the team is always giving it their all, but this felt like giving it their all, but maybe not I mean, not in an encouraging way. They gave it their all, as in this is all they have, and this is the win that you can pull off. It felt Pyrrhic.
I think
Yes, they won, but at what cost? And there's been a lot of cost. We know there's been a lot of cost in camp.
I don't think Japan were their best either, and I think they didn't look anywhere near as good as they did in their previous games, and they seemed a little bit tired and flat, and they kind of gave us a lot. They didn't really do much. And then in the second half, at halftime I thought, oh, Wales might actually pull away a little bit in the second half, but we didn't. And if it wasn't for the interception try by Jazz Joyce,
how much of a sliding doors moment? How much of a sliding doors moment is that intercept?
I know, exactly.
Because if Jazz hasn't made that intercept, Japan probably score there, and that's
we have not played well. We have been doing badly in the second half in WXV, and it was like I genuinely thought, oh well, maybe we won't this game, and then it kind of like, oh, we're not scoring apart from Jazz Joyce's interception. It's like,
which is a giant problem, because before,
it's a huge problem.
Well, we were joking about it back in Six Nations, but like Wales had almost cultivated like a knack for being a second half team, which you also really don't want to do, but we had that kind of to fall back on, or at least we had to hope for it. And then even that petered out. And that's kind of where I was coming from when I felt like it was kind of wrung out of them, because it was really just like, these were the last drops of what we could do. I didn't feel like this was a display of what we could be. This is a display of all that we are.
Yeah.
Well,
and that can't be enough.
I think Japan were done by this game. They had a 6-day turnaround, and their style of rugby, the men's team is doing the same, and I've done loads of research into it and things, and this whole ethos of we don't have the size, therefore to force equals mass times acceleration. We don't have the same mass, therefore we're going to have to accelerate more. Cool.
Which is absolutely how they play.
But it's just it just doesn't seem that they are able to do that. Like for 80 minutes, they can do it for half an hour at the beginning of a game, but they can't do it for 80 minutes. And can they do it for 3 weekends in a row, even with a 6-day turnaround thrown in? So the stats for Japan, 251 passes, which is a crazy amount of passes, for 136 carries, 112 rucks, 251 passes for 112 rucks is just mental. And then 63 post-contact meters from 136 carries, less than half.
Which is not...
That's just not rugby. That's just not how rugby works. Yeah, I understand the innovation and the creativity around trying to get past a fundamental barrier that they have, but I think they were finished by the time they played Wales.
I was going to say those numbers
physically.
Yeah.
Against them, the Bottom and Scotland, who are two very good packs. All right, they may not be the WHC1 packs, but they're still very, very good packs.
Yeah,
and it does see, you can see
if
that, and holding up the mauls and stuff, which was one of the things we were worried about when we were talking about the upcoming Japan game. It's they look worn out. I don't know if that's just because when have Japan women had 3 games in a row where they go up against a big physical team, and it doesn't happen, because I think they mainly just play back and forth with Fiji, really.
Yeah.
And the Fijiana, yes, they're a big physical team, but they don't play that style. They are quite traditional Fijian in that sense, where it's almost like sevens with 15 people on the pitch.
Exactly. I was going to say, even though it was Fiji and they're a little bit bigger, and it was a 15s team, Fiji also kind of, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but they really excel at sevens. They do. I mean, that is a testament to the Fijian style of play. Not that they can't play 15s, but there is something that works really well with their style of play. The same way that, I mean, if we were to talk about Wales, I don't see a bunch of 7-stars there. They play 15s. Like, that is a team designed to play 15s. And, we were talking earlier about physicality with Japan. But I really do think it's what you touched on, just that many of these teams have never played 3 giant matches in a row. And, that speaks to just a lot of the problems, and you mentioned Japan plays Fiji over and over, which is true. Pac-4 needs to be expanded. That is something that will come when it comes. But hopefully would give more exposure. But yeah, I mean, the numbers that Huw was showing us, that's a tired team.
Yeah.
It's just tired.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Kaylee Powell in this game then. So Clayton George was injured, so we had to go, oh crap, we only have 110 and fish around for another 10. And Kaylee Powell drew the short straw. What did we think of her performance?
I thought she did really well. I'm a big fan. I mean, we know I'm a fan of Kaylee.
I was going to
Powell
say
anyway.
this is a Sean moment.
I think she is our best fullback right now. She looks like also our best outside half. I'm not sure how we can pick her in the two positions at the same time. I thought she did really well though. Like if you'd just gone into that game, if you'd been an alien dropped on the planet and just looked at that game, you wouldn't have thought that she had never played for Wales at 10 before. I think she just did fine, did really well. Going forward, I think she is our best option now at 10. What I like about Kaylee Powell is she's the kind of player that will create stuff.
Yes.
She has that kind of spark about her, not to get too melodramatic and romanticizing over our Welsh backs, but that's what I like to see in a player. Just have a go. And she does bring that to us. She has that Sevens background as well, I think. But yeah, I don't understand why she wasn't picked in the team in the first place. As soon as she was available in the warm-up games, I would have had her straight in there to show us what she could do. But for some reason, she wasn't picked.
I have similar questions about a few. I mean, we were saying the same thing about Courtney Keat while we were watching. Yeah,
Courtney Keat's the same thing. Yeah, Courtney Keat became available, and I think they both came on as subs against Australia and Scotland. I think. But yeah, I don't quite understand some of those selection choices. But yeah, I definitely keep her at 10. I don't.
Yeah, she got a lot of touches of the ball, so she had plenty of passes, plenty of kicks, plenty of. She didn't carry that much, but I think that's okay for a 10. I think that's a
I was going to say that
wasn't
what we had her for.
Yeah,
I'm quite excited
about Huw and Lloyd carrying at 10.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I'm quite excited to see Kaylee play with Sian Jones as well. I thought her exactly. I thought her and Kira did well together, but I don't know. Sian Jones has got so much potential. She's so fast. She gets the ball out so quick. We don't get a chance to see her much play for Wales because she tends to come on late in the game. Although I think against Japan she came on quite early for that weird. We didn't really know what was going on. I think Kira had
it was an HIA or blood. We don't know.
We don't know.
Also of note about Sian Jones and how much of a boon she's been for the team just in the short time that she's been called up to senior. I don't remember which match, and I feel foolish now, but at WXV she also came on at 10. Oh, she came on at 10 for
I think it was the last game. It was against Italy, wasn't it? Didn't she? I think it was when Flaky went off, wasn't it?
Yeah,
anyway,
right at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. I don't think we had a dedicated 10.
Because we didn't have a dedicated 10 at the time. Yeah. Which seems wild to me.
and it is wild. And so now I'm hoping that finally we can cement something, because the thing that I keep thinking / worrying about with Kaylee Powell, because again, excellent. And there are so many places or so many ways that you can use her, a few places. But I mean, I guess, never mind. I guess we have Courtney Keat, which is great because she can play several positions, but she can definitely play 15. But if we pull Kaylee Powell off to 10 permanently, which is fine, and she'd be great at it. But if we pull her off for permanent while Flaky is out, that's just Jazz at 15.
Yeah.
Unless you bring Courtney. But either way, to just have the two, I mean, now that I've seen how bad it can be at 10 if you don't have a plan. Oh my God. We'll just throw the 9 on at 10. It'll be fine.
We're looking a bit better.
It's fine.
What have we learned about the centres? Because that's probably the one area where Johan has experimented.
The best centre performance I've seen in Wales is WXC campaign got left at home. Because I still think Meg Webb was the best individual.
I still see that. I'm a Meg Webb apologist. I think that it was insane that we left her at home.
100%. She
I
should
also think-
definitely have gone.
And we've talked about it before, and now after having seen the last 2 matches, I completely stand by it. I think Karis Cox on the wing is a waste. I think she should be in the centers
she
anyway.
was our best 13.
Yes.
I thought she was doing great in the centre. I really do. She
I-
was really good.
Don't understand
I think we
why,
actually
except
got
for
a bit
that
of
we
width
also
in
left
defence
wings
as
at
well.
home.
Yeah.
Well, we left Lisa Neumann at home too, so we had to put them somewhere.
And Gwen Hopkins as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that one I get a bit more.
I get that a bit
That
more
makes a
just
bit
because
more
of the-
sense.
Only
We have
because,
more strength
only
and
because
depth.
I was going to say that, well, the back row is the only place where we have
Yes.
strengths and depth. And we still left pack members at home. We left Gwen Cravat
Sticking with the
as well.
centres though, so
Yes.
which of our centres who actually played in this WXV played the best?
Karis Cox.
Karis Cox.
And
To be fair, Hannah Block I thought was pretty good, despite
Block was
off-field
fine,
issues.
yeah. I think Block and Cox together were the best pair that we had, which still looked kind of green, but
It wasn't
But
particularly
performed.
creative, which is where, it would be nice if we could break, have like Flaky and which obviously is out and then you break
Yeah.
down.
anybody at 11,
I
it
mean-
doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll say that to be fair. I mean, 11. I think we've got to say she was very. I've just no name's gone. I forgot my own name.
Wait, what game was it in the Japan game?
Yeah. Which game are we talking about?
So who's been played? The one who's been
Metcalf.
played on the wing. Not
No,
Cox,
Metcalf.
but,
Yeah,
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
Yeah. I'm
Oh, I
so
mean,
annoyed.
absolutely.
We were talking about it last
she had
night
a
on
good
Cardiff
game.
Central, how
I was
good
gonna say-
Metcalf was.
She had a really good game against.
She was also on our radar.
Japan.
She was also on our radar. We did call that. That was going to be big. It was always going to be big. I think she's just got so much.
She scored a
raw
try,
talent.
which is a special occasion for a
Yes.
Welsh winger to score a try.
For a Welsh back at all. who isn't Jazz Joyce?
All three of our
Um,
tries in this game came from backs. Blimey, this must be the first game in about 100 years where no forward scored a try.
Oh,
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, I was going to say, oh no, it happened in Spain, but
who scored the try? Who scored the one try in the Australia game?
I don't know.
here.
which game now? Oh,
The
in
one where we
WXV.
only scored one.
That was a forward, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Did we have a pushover? Like,
Oh,
I can't believe I can't
you're
remember.
right. You're right.
I remember. I can see them now. They're like, it's yeah.
She looks like Welsh.
She's got
Yeah.
like a Welsh shirt on.
She's got like
She's got boots and.
You'd think, seems like
It's
how rarely
killing.
it happened during WXV, we'd remember who
I
scored.
know,
the,
and so
all
I'm sure he was
5
looking it up,
tries.
but I'm gonna try.
I'm trying to look
as
it
well.
up, but Flash
I
Scores
know.
directed me to Wales Men, which is the last thing I want to look at right now.
Somehow worse.
Yeah,
It shouldn't Rugby Pass have it? I hate to say.
Phillips.
Oh, it
Phillips.
was Karis
Phillips.
Phillips.
Karis Phillips, that's it.
So,
I could see her, but I couldn't think of her name.
Which
But yeah, it was
Which-
like we had a pushover
which
try
fine.
basically, a rolling ball.
Yeah, I was
try.
Oh,
gonna
no,
say
okay,
that's
so
all we do with
Hannah
Hannah
Block scored against Italy. And
Oh,
that
yeah,
was our
yeah.
only try, so it's happened twice.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm just getting-
that's her
I'm just
job at
getting stuff.
least.
Yeah, I thought
does Hannah Block really count as a back? She's
I don't
like
think
an
she should be
extra
on the team at
blindside
all,
flanker
but-
the way she plays, which is it's not a complaint. It's how a lot of people's have their 12s.
It's
But-
not, and and also bully for us because we've also got a really good 12 who plays 3. So
Yeah.
I mean, no,
that's true.
the joke being that Cecilia Tuipulotu, they also often say it should be
Yes.
so.
Yeah, the old get the ball to Cecilia and inshallah plan.
And hope.
well,
Yeah.
hang on. We were thinking that Alcal should be Asadaf, didn't we? Or inside centre.
I know you guys all say
I'd
that.
love
I
to
do
see-
not agree.
I'd love to see
What a waste.
Butchers and Alcal. I just think it's a way of getting all
Oh,
our
that
back
would be
rowers on
fun.
because then we might have a chance. Just
That
by
would be fun.
pure
And they-
shithousery.
They both played 7s back when there was Will 7s, so that would be fun.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I was looking for some. Oh, that shows how mentally stable I am. No, I was looking way far back in Jazz Joyce's posts because I was trying to look for something, and I saw pictures of
Okay,
Oh my
okay.
days.
Good
Baby Jazz-
circling.
baby Jazz, baby Butch, and baby Alcal in there.
Good circling back to Jazz Joyce. So let's do that. So finally, for the first time that I've been doing stats on the women's game. I got to do a stats drop about Jazz Joyce.
And it was a monster too.
Yeah, like the best stats, And I just remember from the first game where the co-commentator was like, "I'm here to see Jazz Joyce. Will someone pass her the ball, please?"
Yes.
Thank
It
you
turns
for
out
admitting
the
it.
plan of playing her at fullback so the opposition kicked the ball to her, that worked. And
It does.
so she got 80 minutes, 116 meters, which was the most of anybody, 16 carries, which was the second top. I think that's now been revised to 17, and she is outright top. 5 passes, 4 defenders beaten, which was the most, 2 lines break, which was the most, 100% tackle success, which is a lesson to anybody listening. Never trust a percentage. She got 1 out of 1, but 100% tackle success is what she got. 1 kick, 1 offload, 1 try, and I've got the try here.
But when you play number 15, every tackle counts.
So, right, so
say,
let's just have a look at this try for a second. So if you look at it, it might not show in this angle, but it's not like she's had to work hard to get it because she comes around the corner almost. Can't really see it on this angle.
Monster,
but
monster.
she steps and she kind of goes round for it. So she's seen it coming from a long way out, obviously, and then she kind of pounces.
She's come so close to doing this in quite a few games lately.
It's because she has such a good read on lines. And
so
I think
it just
that
had
certainly
to,
comes from sevens.
It had to happen, didn't it? It just had to come. One of these chances just had to happen for her. And I'm glad it did happen for her because she's so close.
I do think that is one of the ways to beat Japan's speed is that you need somebody who can who could both decide and execute on a dime. And I will say that is something that Wales has had problems with before in the back.
But then if you look back to where Japan were, if I stop it there, if it goes to the Japan 14, if she doesn't make that intercept, they're scored in the corner.
Yes.
It's a Japan try.
Yep.
And this really knocked Japan for 6. Japan never really
they both
recovered from this moment.
Your sliding doors
comment
is so spot on.
Where it came from.
What you say, Harley?
So you can also see where 95 or 100 odd meters came from.
Yeah, that is true. It's just a mathematical fact.
And
imagine if Japan had scored then.
It would have been over.
Do you know what I mean? Like you just do wonder if we had gone on to lose that match, what state we would be in right now. It would be very interesting.
We don't even. Yes. Okay. There we go. I thought you were going
much stronger with the language on Scrum 5.
Exactly. I thought you were going in one direction, Sean. No, I know that we're not talking about it right now. I'm glad that they won for them. Part of us was also all wishing something else. And am I allowed to go off on this topic very, very briefly?
John Eggs.
Very briefly, yes.
All I will say, and actually I think, Harley, I just heard you say it, so you know where I'm going. But this similar conversation was had on a usually good women's soccer team who concluded long before he left that the coach was not for them. And it took a while to get out, but once they did, things improved almost immediately. And we have been wondering if the same thing could happen for Wales.
Philippa Tati, on the Scrum 5 podcast spoke very well about this. And I think, as Harley pointed out, she's normally quite considered.
Quite measured.
Yes.
Measured, yeah, yes. Perfect word.
Yeah.
And she, by her standards, was very forthright with what she was saying.
Yes.
And Gareth Rees-Owen asked her, how come Ireland have been able to do it and Wales haven't? And she said, Ireland have changed their coach. Yes. And that's literally all it took for them to go from worst in the Six Nations to now finishing second, by the way, in WXV1. So,
and you can tell, when you watch Ireland play now, they look like they're properly organised and coached well.
And I know that it isn't the thing that rugby people like to talk about the most, but there is something to be said. And you know what? If we want to say it's just in women's rugby, fine. I think it's actually probably in all of rugby and all of sports in general. But there really is something to be said for trusting your leaders and for feeling like you want to go to work for your boss every day. If we're talking about professionalism, which we are, or professionalization rather, that is part of it, is that part of signing that contract and signing a big chunk of your life away for not very much money is that ideally you get some kind of say in how the team is run, because you're invested. Everybody is invested. If they are trapped in this place where they can't say anything about the coach, and it seems like they are because they're all media trained to hell, I guess I don't know where to conclude with that, but I think it's something, and we talked about that offline. It's something that kind of becomes inevitable. I do wonder if it's inevitable now, and the only reason that I brought up it would have been good to lose is because I think that it would make it faster.
Yep.
Yeah. Last point about Wales then. So this is a stat that I did, a graph that I did about the kicking. So this isn't a perfect stat because it does as a percentage of points, and if you don't score very many tries, then your percentage of points from goal kicking. So this is all about goal kicking. This is all about goal kicking. So if you don't score very many tries, your percentage looks way better. So that's why Italy is so high, and that's why Hong Kong and Madagascar are so high, because they didn't score very many tries. Wales are at the bottom is the punchline. Wales have the least percentage of their points come from kicking, sorry. And that's not because we score loads of tries. It's because Kira Bevan, who we love and we think was amazing as a captain, and we'll talk about more positives about her in a minute. I just don't. Goal kicking was an issue for Wales. Literally, arguably the worst of any team in WXV, and in the women's game where it is at the moment, where goal kicking is still at international level something of a superpower, where if you've got one, it's going to do you a lot.
Yeah.
To be less than Japan is, it's a tough stat for the team.
Yeah.
Especially considering both of their respective performances. Otherwise, it's.
Can we just take a quick positive though? Because in theory, if you are converting every try you score, it's 29%.
Yep.
And there are two teams there that are bang on 29%. So I think Julie be happy with one, and I think the rest of us are definitely happy with the other, with Samoa and USA. So basically saying that, they convert, on average, they convert every try.
Yeah,
obviously,
but then
it's a bit different if they score penalties as well, but
Yeah, but you have to factor in. There's tons of maths about this, which is why when I posted it in the group chat, it was all wrong initially, and I had to backtrack horribly.
We are your test tube. Like, it's fine. We're just like, hey, so that looks wrong.
Yeah. So yes. So I'm sorry, I only have men's data, and I know it's not the same, but in the URC, about 75% of conversions go over. So 75% of 29% is like 23%. So anything in the 20s is totally fine. Anything in the 30s is amazing. Anything less than 20 is we have a problem here. 14.
Anything in the 30s suggests you've scored more penalties.
Yes, absolutely.
Than tries, yes.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Which was possibly true for Hong Kong, actually.
Although having said that, if Kira Bevan had kicked 100% of her kicks, would any of the results in any of the games changed? I don't think so.
That's what I'm curious about. I don't think it would have.
So it's an interesting way of interpreting those stats.
It would have been 6 more points in total.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because she missed 3. Because that's the thing. Her kicking percentage looked so bad because she had 5 kicks. She had 5 kicks at goal and got 2 of them.
I don't think they were easy kicks.
They weren't exactly easy kicks.
No.
Yeah. So finishing up on Wales then. So finishing on a positive, I want to hear everybody's Wales player of WXV. So Harley, you first. Who was your top player in this tournament?
George Evans, hands down, was just someone who brought aggression and had a point to prove from minute 1 to till the final whistle against Japan.
Sian, who are you going for?
I am going to divert from my usual, and I'm actually going to go with Katie Powell because I just think she showed the most initiative for trying to play more of a running game and try and utilize space a bit more.
She showed a new versatility and not that she didn't have it before, but didn't get to demonstrate it.
Exactly.
She had a really great tournament.
Otherwise, I would normally go for Kira Bevan.
Julie, who are you going for?
Oh, Kira Bevan. I am, of course, going for KB. What a surprise. I am going for KB for various reasons that I've already talked about. And then also, I've talked about this before as well. I think she's really matured in several of her roles. The 9 is always kind of the on-field captain anyway. And I think that she has moved into that role really well. I think it'll align really well when they realize that she should be the captain regularly. And when she was also, I was really happy with her performance as captain, especially because she had to captain for some pretty shitty losses.
Yeah, I thought she had a really
seen,
good tournament.
We have seen lesser people take losses worse.
Yeah, agreed.
I thought her performance against Japan was very good. I really liked her passing. I really liked the way that she was organizing the team and just getting the ball away from the rocks. It was a bit of an armchair ride that she was getting, but that was good. And it allowed her to show some class, and all of her stats are really good apart from the goal kicking. So yeah, I'm
100%.
aligned with you. I think she was great as a captain as well. So big fan.
Yeah.
My player of the tournament is Bethan Lewis. I just felt that she was always stepped up. She was always at the heart of everything. A proper number 8 showing. Number 8's all about
her work rate is so
agile
high.
and also being an edge forward. I have to say that if there's one image from this WXV that's burned into my retinas, it is in the Italy game where Katie George does a crossfield kick just on her own 10-meter line. And I'm thinking, where's the winger? Where's the winger gone? There should be a winger running after that. And then out of at the bottom of your screen, in the bottom right-hand corner, you just see this tiny, tiny scrum cap with legs running, legs moving fast, but body not moving very fast across the pitch after this kick. And the Italian winger's like looking at her like, oh, she's running towards me. Like, okay. And then the ball lands and rolls a bit, and then Bethan's still running like, we're going to get there, And then the Italian winger's like, I'm going to pick up this ball now and kick it back behind you. And Bethan's like, I'm still going to get there. And then I put in the group chat like, what is the winger doing? Do we have a right winger?
And as you also said, I would really like to see her GPS
30 minutes on the right wing on the weekend. I feel incredibly seen right now, and I don't like it, and I feel like this isn't a safe space for me.
As someone who did not belong on the wing this weekend, I understand Bethan Lewis.
Bethan Lewis has been such a great performer for Wales. Overall, she's kind of doesn't always necessarily get the attention because she always does all that really hard work. And she is so hardworking. She's been such a great servant for Wales.
Yeah.
And she's not as showy as some back rows definitely can be. And especially when you play at 8 of all of the back row positions, you can either be a giant showy star or you can end up something like Bethan Lewis, which is just like quieter unless you have massive games like Italy. But regardless, across her performances, it's just somebody who, jokes aside, is everywhere all the time. She wants to be in every breakdown. She wants to help support every run. It's fantastic to watch her. I don't know how she pulls. I don't know how she pulls that kind of like energy and joie de game out every day. Well, when you're facing all sorts of this other stuff, I don't know, man. She loves rugby.
It's the sort of stuff that lets Alicia Butchers and Al Carroll, Kate Williams, etc., do what they're good at.
That's exactly what
it gives them the space,
balance.
To do that.
And that's
the one thing I do think Beth Lewis needs to do is copy George Evans and just put a few more cheap shots in 10s when they kick.
No, absolutely right.
I'm not saying actively hit the 10,
but you're absolutely
right. Just remind them that if they take too long, you will hurt them.
As the old saying goes,
to make them stop rushing their kicks.
It makes her look soft when she's not soft. That's all.
Yeah. As the old saying goes, get your first hit in early, even if it's late.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, the late great Ray Grahell.
Yeah, I will say that later on in the Italy game, Katie George did another crossfield kick, which Beth Lewis came very, very close to catching and would have scored a try if it had come off. So I understand. I understand that for Gloucester Hartbury, they do that move quite a lot, and so it's got the heritage as a thing. Just in that one moment, it blew my mind.
To be fair, Gwennon Hopkins is a bit more spry.
That's true.
That's the exuberance of youth.
That's true.
I am really encouraged by the hopefully good likelihood that she is the next 8. I would really hope so because I think that would be a good. We do have
a bit of depth. That's the kind of
we absolutely do.
We do. We kind of say we don't have. It's a bit bare bones at the moment, but we definitely have some really good depth there. It's it's about how we can kind of work in those other areas where we don't have that depth. But it goes back to grassroots and
exactly. And actually, that is a question. I don't remember who, but somebody did tweet it at the podcast account that the question was about that performance. Why aren't we kind of improving, especially backline play? And the answer to that is, I think the answer is just the
It
depth.
seems to be it's like a Welsh thing, because it's happening in the men's game as well. Not to really go into too much depth with the men's game, but we do seem to produce a lot of good 7s and 6s and all this kind of stuff, and we are lacking in that kind of the centre. I think we're kind of a little bit patchy. I don't know. There's just something a bit. I don't know what it is.
No, we certainly are.
The problem is we find a generational talent and we stick with them and we flog them, and it takes a while for the next echelon.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it at 13 in the men's game because Foxy just, who's recently announced his retirement. I know. So a sad moment for those of us who don't mind the men as well as the women. It's that's a huge void to fill. We had a similar thing at second row when Aaron Jones, and admittedly that got filled very
absolutely.
We had some very good people under the service. Probably should have overtaken him earlier, but you get that point. And I think you do get the same, because when Hannah Jones, because I know we've moaned about Hannah Jones, but we've got to remember she initially was a very good outside centre, and she did marshal that back very well. And I think maybe it's been clung on to a bit more. I don't know if it's the captaincy's weighing down on her, because I know we've had similar things. Like I know when you get some players, like when they've got the captaincy, it just makes them worse because they're worried about that. Some players thrive on it, others players don't. Like for me, Kira Bevan grows another foot taller when she's captain.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Because
she's 4 foot tall.
She's got to use the scientific term, she's got the bollocks for it.
It does. But it's true though.
It's true.
And yes, we are talking about Hannah right now, but we can say that about a lot of there have been all sorts of types of captains across the women's game, and across the board, the ones with longevity, the ones that succeed. I think about Captain Dr. Rachel Malcolm. I think about Kate Zachary. Those are the ones that, when you put them into when you put them in the big girl chair and you say do this, it enhances them. And it's not a knock on somebody if that doesn't happen with them. I don't feel that it's happening with the one right
now. Okay, that concludes Wales chat. So, talking about WXV as a whole then, WXV1 was won by England. Who would like to lead the congratulations?
Sorry.
I would.
Okay.
Congratulations to the Red Roses. You're still doing okay. We could really argue that there were a few matches across their performance that indicated that there is no way that they will stay infallible forever. And I think that was the best part of the tournament for them.
They got very lucky against Canada. Is
they got
my takeaway from that
extremely
game.
lucky.
I thought they were lucky against Canada.
I watched that game.
We
knowing
all
the
got
result.
so mad watching it.
We all were getting rather irate.
Canada left 4 tries out there.
Canada left 4 on the table, which was insane.
Yeah. And it was just a few silly mistakes as well. Sort of I think it was when Ellie Kildun got sin binned and they kicked to.
Thank you for bringing it up. Let's watch the video.
But then they lose the line out, and it's.
I was going to say,
my god!
It was line out, and I hated when we were chatting it out. I hated to get on board with this, but I guess I do the more I think about it. I do not think that any team requires one person to win. And I am a big Sophie Goody fan. I absolutely am. But I do think it would have performed better if Sophie Goody was there. Yeah, let's watch this. This is better.
They were missing.
This is the worst yellow card I've ever seen in my
For
life.
a succulent Chinese meal.
pretty poor, to be honest.
What's the charge?
It's the what are you doing, Ellie? What the hell is that?
What's the charge?
If you could get red carded for cynical play, this is the time to do it.
So cynical.
If they had lost, if Canada had,
or something.
It's because they disrespect Canada so much.
I'm
sorry.
Do you think that's what it was? Do you think it was?
He genuinely thinks that they're stupid enough that they wouldn't have noticed.
What is she doing? Kick it with your foot. Don't lean down. Don't lean down.
Or at
Pick
least
it up with
pick
your
it up.
hand, chuck it a little bit, and then look over your shoulder at the referee.
Oh, whoa.
You see that?
It does look
I was
more
gonna say
ridiculous every time
we've all lied to a ref before. We've all played rugby, so we've all lied to a ref before about something that we absolutely did that we didn't do.
I've seen this about 100 times. It still makes me mad when I see it. Like, use your heel or something. Like, oops, I didn't see the ball.
That we kept
Like,
saying.
what the
It's just
hell?
like you can do fuckery like that, but it was so blatant.
It
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
me that she's done it before and gotten away with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And certainly she's gotten away with it at club level. I mean, the Quins do all sorts
But
of
it's
stuff,
just so stupid because if Canada had gone on to score then, do you know what I mean? Like that stupid action could have cost England the game.
That's
I mean,
hubris.
it's
hubris.
just yeah.
Hubris
I just
is the
can't get my
word
head
for the
around
Red
it.
Roses, isn't it? Hubris is the word for the word. Look, listen. If England have no haters, we're all dead.
We are all dead in a ditch.
So even the way they were defending, like in the first half where Canada scored their first try, like there was a 3-player overlap on the. I'm going like this, but it was actually over here. There was a 3-player overlap, and England just like, yeah, they won't score, and then they did, and they're like, oh, England do not like to be rattled. By the way, they felt insulted that Canada were giving them a game. Their faces, their body language, I didn't like it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. I do think there is part of England can't win right now. I mean, they can win. They always win. I don't mean that. But if they win by 50, 60 points, they're kind of expected to. But if they don't win if they have a close match like that, it's kind of like, oh, they're rubbish. But I don't think that's the crux of it. I think the thing I have with it is that there was a bit of an arrogance going on in the lead up to a lot of these games.
We know there was.
Gildan gave an interview where she said, "I guess I wish them luck playing us." Like,
yes, it's those kind of
and
comments.
That was after Marley Packer went to the Telegraph and said, "Actually, we're not really that scared. Like, I don't think anybody can touch us."
That's like, oh yeah, New Zealand, they're not.
Oh, it was when they were about to play New Zealand.
And stuff like this, it kind of they're not endearing themselves towards the rugby world at the moment,
which is fine, and you don't have to. We were talking about,
which is fine. It's the lack of respect, I think, is kind of like, at least respect like your opponents. And to be fair, they're winning, but then I don't think they're playing great. And I think that's their challenge at the moment. I think
all I'm saying is it's not very rugby values of them.
It's almost as if they do look a little bit complacent, I have to say. Like,
well, look at my amazing try graph.
This is really interesting.
I was poring over this when you sent it.
So the blue bars, for people who are watching on YouTube, the blue bars are how many tries they conceded, and the orange line is the rolling 4-game average. The reason we do rolling averages is because otherwise your line looks all spiky, and that's bad. So they peaked against New Zealand, averaging conceding over 3 tries a game. This is supposed to be the best team in the world, considering conceding 3 tries a game on average. By the way, but 5 matches before then, it was less than 1 try a game.
I think that's the really interesting context here. It's the comparison to how they were. And I think, we're talking about teams improving, and I think actually this is an area where they are not doing as well as they were. They are actually getting a little bit worse. And you're saying about how they didn't really want to defend. I don't know. Is it complacency? Well, they never had to, yeah.
But that's the thing, though, is that they are on paper, and also if you have eyes and watch rugby, you can see they are not. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're like getting markedly worse, but I wouldn't say that they're improving, and I wouldn't say that they're still untouchable. Well, but now they're coming out with all of this stuff about like being so big for their britches and everything. Now is when? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
You're just begging somebody to kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
Oh, no. I know you're not, Sean.
Because obviously everyone's moaning about England being all arrogant and stuff. And for me, I'm happy about England being all arrogant and stuff. Because I feel like something's right with the world now. That the English are being arrogant and we're moaning about it. And there's something so right about it. I felt far too uneasy when it was all, aren't the Red Roses great? And, they're such likable people.
So
look
weird.
at them all, their families in this sense. I like the fact that Marley Packer rubs me up the wrong way. Like, I love that because I think that is
That's how it
exactly
should
what
be.
the
She
England
has my-
captain and open side flanker should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? That was the reason why the 2015
she's like
England
Alcal, but not
team was so
likable.
weird. Because they seem vaguely likable.
Yeah, and they won nothing. So there you go. If any Red Roses hear this and think, "Oh, you only hate us because we're winning," yeah, we
Yes.
do. We all hate. We all hated Manchester United under Alex Ferguson. We all
Exactly.
hated Ferrari when they had Michael Schumacher.
We all hate Leinster.
Now we all hate
We
you.
all laughed at Arsenal until they got rid of Jonas.
Women's sport references.
Oh, sorry. The 3 fans for which it crosses over, they will love that joke.
Okay, so that's enough. I ended
I
that
think
game. I ended that game convinced that Canada are going to win the World Cup. Convinced.
For the listeners, I changed our group chat to Canada for RWC 25.
Yeah, I'm
can
here
take
for
it.
this. I have to say, I'd love to see it happen. But I got to. No one in the so we're all talking about, Canada did play really well. They could have won, but England have won. Blah blah blah. England doing really well. England the best team in the world. But like, no one was actually saying about like Canada are actually missing their best players.
Yes.
In fact, they are
No one
missing
said
the
that.
best player.
And she
Exactly.
will almost certainly be at the World Cup. Almost certainly.
I think
everybody is saying that she's on the way back.
That player called Sophie de Goody is a huge understatement for how good a player she is.
Yeah,
she is. Exactly.
What a story.
And
I guess
Julia
I'm kind of
mentioned
good,
it.
Good, eh?
Sophie
Julie
de
did
Goody
touch on
rugby
it.
player.
Julia did touch on it earlier, saying that if Sophie had played in the match on the weekend,
The
that
lineups would have been tighter.
that could have given them the edge, and they and she's such a great leader as well.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
I
So
think
such
they
a good
needed
leader.
one more forward on their bench. I think that was the thing that killed them in that last 10 minutes. I think they were short one big bugger up front. And it nearly worked in the last World Cup when they went 7-1, which, the idea was then stolen by Razzie Erasmus. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Razzie.
Alex Ellison?
Scotland also did the 4-4 in that tournament as well, which was quite interesting.
Canada had 4 weeks
out of necessity.
Yeah. So can we just mention? Someone explain why Canada should not be able to compete with the Red Roses on any level. With logic being logic.
They had 4 weeks prep compared to like everyone else having a couple of months.
4 weeks
They're
prep.
all semi-pros.
Yeah.
They're scattered all around. They're not all located
Almost
in the
none
same
of them.
100-mile radius line.
Like,
Almost
it's
none of them play
mind-boggling.
together. And we've seen teams that are having the similar logistical problems. I was going to say France, but not really. Italy has the same kind of problem where a lot of their best players, because of necessity, have gone to either France or Spain, mostly France. And so they often have problems getting everybody together. And Europe is smaller. Italy is much smaller. Canada is a really big place. I really wish people would understand. And especially when they were talking all about, like, why didn't they have it in Toronto or Montreal instead of out in British Columbia? And I'm like, well, because they had it in Ottawa, and now they're doing it in another place because it's a giant place. But that is also the answer to the question of why they don't.
We're a tiny country. We're a tiny country. Yeah,
well, and that's the
exactly.
thing. But it's so rich when I'm getting. But it's so rich when I'm getting these questions from. And honestly, it's from almost exclusively English fans. But if I were to get the question from Irish or Scottish or Welsh, yeah, you can get anywhere in 5 hours. You can't get out of some provinces in 5 hours in Canada. So.
Okay, so
clearly you've never been on the M4 on a weekday.
So
you've never driven to North Wales.
I was going to say,
God.
Sean loves to tell me about how it's actually not as small as it looks on the map. Okay, it takes 7 hours to get to North Wales.
You have to go into England to go to the quickest way to North Wales and South Wales is England via England.
That is. That
right?
is very funny to me. The Americans found that out the hard way when we were doing our friendlies tour before the last, before Pac 4 for us and you guys Six Nations. That was a lot of fun
Yeah.
because because a bunch of the Americans were posting on Instagram. They were like, so we think we're lost. And I don't remember where they were. I think they were right outside of Manchester, which is correct. Which is correct when you're from Cardiff to North Wales. You should be touching kind of close to Manchester. And I was like, our bus driver doesn't.
It's not quite
Wild.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, where they go from Dover to Nottingham via Hadrian's Wall, but it's it's along those lines.
Everyone's gonna love that reference.
Anyway.
What a reference.
Anyway.
That is the best reference.
I know, you both love it.
So
The geeks.
what is the takeaway? So I want from each person, I want one thing they learned from WXV. So I've got a pretty graph up on the screen as decoration. So Julia, one thing that you learned from WXV, make it a rugby thing, not a greater good thing.
No, understand. I sorry to go for my other team, but for me it really was, I mean, just because unfortunately we learned a lot of things we didn't want to know about Wales. I did learn that the new coach has done a lot of really good work with the USA team. I really wasn't confident that we would come back like we once were ever. I think there was a concern about that. And thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you ask me my favorite thing from WXV, it was Mackenzie Hawkins. But yeah, I am more hopeful. I'm hoping that it gives more incentive to expand places where we compete, like Pac-4. I'm hoping that people see that it can be exciting. Oh, there we go. To make it more wider appeal. I was really surprised by how many people really enjoyed watching the USA and Canada play. And that makes me happy because I feel like North American rugby has been a punchline for a really long time. And I'm hoping that it's becoming less so.
Yeah. Harley, what's your one thing that you learned?
From WXV1.
From the whole thing, just overall.
So first, I've got a couple.
No, one thing that you learned.
No, you only allowed one.
No, I'm having a couple.
He's having a couple.
Right, first of all, Ireland are the real deal in their improvement.
Absolutely.
Secondly, the only team who seem to be going as far backwards as quickly as Wales is Italy. And then WXV3, I really, really, really love the Netherlands team. There you go.
If you love tries, Netherlands not the team to watch. 6 scored, 4 conceded. And I mean, good, ended in positive, objectively good rugby, just not thrilling.
Yeah.
We have different definitions of thrilling, Huw, I think.
Yeah, we probably do.
And
I like a
also,
drop goal.
The Netherlands have the constant monkey on their back of like, they just have to keep playing Spain. And I don't know how much you can develop playing actually, I know how much you can't develop playing the same country over and over again because I'm a USA rugby fan. You cannot develop playing one team over and over. So I'm still really hopeful in Harley's estimation.
Spain, 17 tries scored, 1 conceded.
I love
it was
Spain.
against Fiji.
They had a great tournament.
I absolutely love Spain.
They're so fun to watch.
They are
That's
awesome.
exactly the marker you want to put down to say, we do not belong here.
Yeah. Sian, what was your one thing that you learned?
I hardly stolen it really, but for me it was Ireland, I think, because I've been really impressed with Ireland over the last 12 months, right? But I don't think I really fully appreciated them until this tournament, because they get into the WXV1 and they've come second. Like this is a pretty big deal, I think,
They didn't play Canada. Oh no, they did, and they lost.
Yeah.
They my bad.
They didn't play the Red Roses.
Yeah, my bad. Apologies.
But like Harley said, they are the real deal, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing them in the Six Nations. They've got England at home, which I'm really looking forward to.
That 88-10 looks so weird now.
I know, right? I know. I can't get my head around that, to be perfectly honest. We were discussing this in our group chat, and we were wondering if they didn't really target the game. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? But
I honestly think a part of we've never played in front of this many people thing may have happened. It was
could be.
I don't know, but it's still
it could be
for a lot of these players.
But I'm just really, really, really impressed with Ireland. I think they're amazing, and I'm quite excited for them. I think I'm really looking forward to Six Nations, see how they do. So yeah, that was my main takeaway.
Ireland have had a lot of the same problems that Wales have had, and sometimes even concurrently. And I hate to say it, but it seems right now like the two picked different roads for each challenge, and every time Ireland picked the right one and Wales didn't. I mean, them coming second in WXV1, Wales definitely didn't do that when they accidentally ended up in WXV1.
Yeah.
So
Accidentally.
so is well, God, after that performance, it looked like an accident.
My lesson, the thing that I learned, is that Samoan women's rugby is a thing.
Yes.
And I've been reading about it. You know, WXV3 finished second, didn't play against Spain, which is a bit of a shame. Qualified for the World Cup now.
Yes.
14 tries scored, 6 conceded, and the proud owners of the top scorer in the whole of WXV, which has been properly swept under the rug by all of the actual rugby media. And it's only people on Twitter who have actually called it out. I called it first, but other people have since called it out more, which is reassuring because I had to add it up in my head, like how many points that she scored. And I was like, this is the kind of thing that I get wrong. But you also
picked the perfect quote for that as well. It made me really happy.
Yeah.
Alice Sofa, I totally pinched this from her Substack, but I linked it underneath.
That makes sense.
So, that was such a great article, though.
Yeah.
That was the other thing.
Samoa's Casey Siatanga, is that right?
Yeah, Siatanga.
Scored 29% of Samoa's points. She scored 34. Nobody else got more than 22. And I think that was Tessier for Canada.
Canada, yeah.
And she speaks in this interview with Alice Sofa about how she could have, I don't know if she could have, but there was a pathway at some point for her to play for the Black Ferns, and she chose Samoa. And yeah, just this thing about Samoan women's rugby being a path forwards for these women, and there's a choice between playing for the Black Ferns and Samoa, and for some of them, they just want to play for Samoa, and it's great. They've been on the up and up. They've got some really great results. I think they will have a tough World Cup, but they've come second in WXV3, and I think they're one of the stories of the tournament.
Yeah, agreed.
I think they'll have a rough World Cup, but I think they're really going to show up. I still think it's going to be fun to watch them.
Yeah. So that's our summary of the tournament from a rugby playing point of view. A lot of the talk about WXV has been about the tournament itself and how, as a product, shall we say, it has issues. So where do we begin? I feel like the format route is well trodden in terms of I think I heard you, Julia, say it on David's show that 3 tiers of 6 teams feels right. That's what it should be. But unfortunately, we just can't. There's only enough room for 3 game weeks, which just isn't enough, really.
I don't get why. I mean, I don't know if it's just because. I mean, a big part of it is quite a large proportion of these players are in the PWR, and that season's already going.
Yes.
But then you've got Six Nations platform, and I feel like the men's game seems to have no trouble squeezing an extra international weekend out. So I don't know why we couldn't get that. Even if it's a 4th one and it's, say, the top from each pool.
Yes.
And you do it that way or something.
Yeah. I really feel like, and it's not their fault, that they really struggle to find a gap in the calendar for it, like what time of year to play it.
That's what I was going to say. Is that it's hard to wedge it in, and unfortunately, even though it's a domestic competition, at this time, women's rugby still defers to PWR.
And it's a bit too like the World Cup in that it's got pools, it's got seeding, and it's all played in one country. So it's like, so it's a World Cup. And like, no, it's an annual thing. So it's not a World. It's
just waiting until the National League for the men's comes in.
Yeah, oh my God. But it's not. It's obviously it's got massive value. So I'm going to use the word special in a marketing product kind of way. It's not special enough. And
yeah,
I'm sorry, people are going to hate me for saying this, but Canada was the wrong place to host it. To go from New Zealand to Canada, 2 extremes in terms of time zone. Yeah. Just like England, Canada being on at 3 a.m. for I think
Yeah,
Canada,
that was a
one of
shame.
Ireland Blackfern's being on a technically Monday morning before anybody wakes up. And I'm being extremely UK European centric. I acknowledge
I was gonna
that.
say, I think it can't be England and New Zealand forever.
I think Australia
Uh,
is a great place to host it. I think France is a great place to host it.
Australia and France
Japan.
are great places to host it.
Japan?
But another thing that I did say is that I do stand by it. Other than, well, no, not other than. I do stand by it that I've said before. I do think that it should always be one of the nations that is in the tier.
Agree.
So yeah,
Hmm.
so Australia wouldn't have worked this time. France, okay. I am defensive of the Canada choice. I am not defensive of the city. And I do say this as an East Coaster. I would have been fine with Montreal or Toronto. And not that it should be big city centric. I understand that there are benefits to being out in BC. Most of it is that all the rugby infrastructure in Canada is out in BC because that's where
Yep.
their high performance center is, which is fine, I guess. But Canada
Langford.
is right, but Canada is such a sporting country. And of course, we've also seen, because they've hosted Pac 4 events in Ottawa, there's absolutely places to play rugby on the East Coast. The only reason I say it is because it would have been more friendly. And yes, I admit that most of the audience is in Europe and the UK, and to a lesser extent, New Zealand and Australia. That would have probably been a little bit more helpful. But that said, I think we can't keep going forever without hosting stuff in America and Canada. We are also looking to grow the game.
I've got a slightly different. I want to come on this issue. So, what in there? If you were in BC right then, what time are those games on?
Yeah, they were, and that was the thing, was that sometimes they were like 5 p.m. for BC, and I was like, why? Why not go a little bit earlier?
No.
But
Well, the thing is, because the biggest issue for me with WXV2 is 3 p.m. on a Friday. Now, a lot of people work, and usually they don't finish at 3. And you complain about them not
start
getting
work on a
crowds,
Friday.
and then you're having a game when everyone's in work.
Yeah.
South Africa, one of the big benefits of South Africa is, for that European centric, is yes, it's miles away, but it's gonna be lovely.
but it is still on
a bit
It's
better.
the same time.
But it should be in your viewing window.
But it's why WXV2 was so
I basically
good.
had to watch the Friday games back after the matter of fact, because I finish at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the game, the game kicks off 3 p.m., which is for 3 p.m. UK time. There's no need for that. There was no need. They could have shifted that a couple of hours.
Yeah.
They could
It was
have
a bit
played them
weird.
on
For
the
one of-
Saturday and the Sunday.
For one of the game weekends for WXV2, it was a clash with the Springboks, so okay.
And that is, but then that's another issue again. Then is
that shouldn't matter.
You've got the Curry Cup. You had the Curry Cup final. You had a Springboks home test, which is basically the decider for their first rugby championship win since 2019, which is a big, it's a big fucking. I appreciate there might be people listening, but that is a huge fucking thing for South Africa, who are a very rugby nation and mostly a men's rugby. Or admittedly, that is changing now, as we've seen on social media with Sian coming on, which is
which I think is going to do a lot of good.
Is a huge thing. It was like they sort of went, oh, we've got to do this somewhere. We'll throw it. We went there last year. It was all right. We'll throw it there again. And then we get to the third venue, and I don't think we can find good reasons other than money to have it there.
Well, I've already gone off about it. If we do, I will go way over time. We should not be in Dubai. Nothing about World Rugby should ever be in Dubai.
Absolutely
I think the whole plot agrees with that.
So
but certainly for a sport full of multicultural, not by far not a majority, but a large percentage of queer women should absolutely not be in Dubai. But anyway, sorry, go on.
The thing about the attendance is, I do feel like people deserve stick for this, and I appreciate, you made the point, Julia, that's completely valid, of us, particularly UK people, don't travel. It was funny earlier. You said
we only travel.
You can get places in 5 hours. Trust me, in the UK, if something's more than an hour away, we won't go to it.
Yes, and that is the thing, though, that I learned actually from being a fan of things like the PWR, where it always surprised me that people were acting like playing in another city was like moving, moving clubs or whatever. To me, I'm imagining like moving to Philadelphia for a team that is going to pay me money. I'd be like, yeah, I can be there this weekend. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
so
be there.
but forget the traveling support for a second.
Right.
Where's the local support? You know, it really
That.
smacked off to me of World Rugby and the local, like the domestic union, being both like, "Oh, I thought you were doing that," kind of thing.
Yes,
Like,
that I agree with. That was a dropped ball
I'm
for sure.
without being a horrible generalist, marketing things that are for women to women is a very well understood thing. A lot
Yes.
of other people in other industries around the world do it very, very well. There's like Race for Life in the
Especially
UK,
sports.
which is Race for Life in the UK is not a women's thing, but it is marketed as a women's thing and gets huge attendances off the back of it. And like the number of things that you could tack onto it, like have a LGBTQ plus thing, have someone there with rainbow flags painting rainbows on people's cheeks or something, have like set up a cocktail stand, whatever. Like you could add so much to it to make it a marketable thing. And like, yeah, they got school kids in towards the end, some of whom were really not asked about being there. Like, shout out to the two girls, one who was doing knitting and one was doing a Rubik's Cube next to each other. You, my people, I love you. But like, it was like,
There was a kid asleep, wasn't there? I'm sure
yeah.
they showed the kid asleep.
And
in
it
one
was
the
kind
games.
of and like people in South Africa only turned up because Sia Khaleesi posted
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
and it's like, who could you market like school tours? Rugby teams do tours and they do it abroad. Like in the UK, it's a sport for posh kids in England, and posh kids go to posh schools and their parents got loads of money. So ring up those schools and say, hey, do you fancy coming to Canada to see a women's match? We'll give you free tickets. They'll be like, yeah, cool, fine. Like it it wasn't impossible to do this. It wasn't impossible to get people
Yeah.
to these games. Just no one thought to do that. No, like we know Rugby Canada's a shambles from other stuff, but World Rugby clearly were like, oh, it's the host nation's job to promote it, and
Mm.
it's just like properly, just no one bothered. It's not. It isn't the case that no one cares about the games or no one would be interested to go. No one could be asked to market it. And that's why the attendances went up as the tournament went on, because people realized like, hey, there's this thing happening, let's go to it. It should be easy, frankly. It should be easy. I'm not saying to get the stadiums rammed, but to have like more than 200 people there should be easy. That's my rant. Does anybody disagree with anything that I said?
Nope.
No.
But I think also it does come to the thing of like the timings they use. They pick times when people aren't going to be around to watch rugby. You know, it's not. You know, even if I wanted to travel down to South Africa, which is a couple of £1,000 flight, you know, I'd
No,
have to take a
right.
day off work as well, which
Yeah.
would be even more. You know, it cost me even more to go down and watch Wales Women play. And it's like that's when you've got to start taking into account things like that. Whereas maybe a Saturday, people might be a bit more inclined to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I was just on that
Because
note.
what I like, and I just saw it on Twitter happening. It's like, oh, you know, all these people going on. Oh, no one cares about these matches, and it's like, oh, it's just kind of like people do care, but like,
I mean, for a
do you know what I
start,
mean?
those
It's
people care
It has
enough
to be
about
ironed
this
out.
being a thing that they have to make a comment about no one caring.
well,
which
yeah,
is
there is that.
weirdly a way of caring. Like you could just
Mm.
ignore. It's a really easy way of showing you don't care about something is to not. Do I think like the WRU showed they don't care about the Wales women team by barely talking about them.
Yeah, or not even acknowledging someone's 50th cap.
Yeah,
We're four hosts of a women's rugby podcast. None of us stayed up to watch the 3 a.m. games or whatever
Right.
time it was for yourself,
No.
Julia. So we're the
No.
hardcores and we're not watching the games.
in my defence, I do have to get up at 5 a.m. on a Monday to drive
No,
from
I
Devon
understand.
to
I'm
Cardiff.
not. You don't need to defend yourself. It's not our fault.
No.
It's the organisers' fault. Bad mistakes. Bad mistakes.
To be fair, I think I saw most of the games apart from I was running Cardiff half the. I think it was the one of the Canada games that was it England anyway. Yeah, too early in the morning.
So
I also realised I got the wrong day for one of the games because I was assuming
I did
because I
that.
saw 3 a.m. on a Sunday and assumed it would be the Sunday night,
Gotcha.
and it turned out to be the morning. And I was like,
I think it.
I mean,
There was
that's a
one
bit of dad
game
brain,
I
but-
missed because of that. I think I saw it. I thought it was the wrong. I got the wrong day.
Anyway, so that's
Anyway.
gotten that out of my system.
Do you feel better now, Hugh?
I feel not really.
It is frustrating.
It's a good place to leave it.
At least Scarlett's
Yeah.
won on the weekend, mate. You know,
Scarlett's
I'm
one
glad
of
we
the
could give you
weekend.
that.
Yeah. Right.
I did
so
go to that
you-
game. Just saying.
Oh,
I
did you?
went.
It's not that kind of
Wonderful.
So,
Gotta
we shall bring it to an end there. We shall be back with people to talk about maybe previewing Celtic Challenge and catching up on the PWR.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's a shame to end on a bit of a negative note, but that's Welsh rugby for you. So
Can we, if you want a positive, how good's Aoife Wafer?
We'll be back
If
to
you
talk
wanna
about
end on
that.
exactly. Like there's so many positives that have come out of the WXP.
All right.
Like it's been
We will-
really good.
And Erin King,
We'll
the
be sure
real
to talk
EK.
about more. That's right. All right.
right. So thank you everybody for listening, and we shall speak to you again soon. What was it we started with? So happy to be here. What did she say?
I'm so
Very
excited.
It's very exciting.
Hope you find this episode
podcast.
exciting.
It's very exciting.
Bye.
Bye.
That was RAP, the Welsh Women's Rugby Appreciation Podcast. Please rate, review and share us on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. Until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.